College football returns next month, and here are the 5 most underrated quarterbacks in college football you need to know before the season starts. First up is Tucker Gleason from Toledo. Last year, Gleason threw for 2,800 passing yards, 24 passing touchdowns, and 8 interceptions. He's also a really good runner, having over 350 rushing yards with 7 rushing touchdowns. So the players that I'll be talking about in this video, Tucker Gleason is the only quarterback to help his team not only beat one Power 4 team last year, but 2 Power 4 teams. Gleason helped Toledo beat Mississippi State and Pittsburgh last year, and he was very good in those 2 games. He averaged over 300 passing yards, had 5 passing touchdowns, 1 interception, had 74 rushing yards with a rushing touchdown. Gleason also gets his top wide receiver back, Junior Vanderross, who had over 950 receiving yards last season. Vanderross is one of the best wide receivers in the group of 5, and Gleason and Vanderross are one of the most underrated quarterback and wide receiver duos in the country. Toledo starts off the year at Kentucky, and I think with Gleason at the helm, they're capable of beating the Wildcats because we've seen what he can do against Power 4 teams by beating 2 of them last fall. Toledo is the favorites to win the MAC this year, and it's no surprise with Gleason at the helm. I think Tucker Gleason from Toledo is one of the most underrated quarterbacks in the country, and he deserves a lot more national recognition. Next up on this list is Western Kentucky quarterback Maverick McIvor. Last year at Abilene Christian, he threw for over 3,800 passing yards, 30 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, and threw a passing touchdown in every single game he played in last year. In his only game against a Power 4 opponent last year, he was 36 of 51, over 500 passing yards, and 3 touchdowns against Texas Tech. Maverick McIvor could not have picked a better team to go to than Western Kentucky. Western Kentucky has developed some of the best quarterbacks in college football the past decade or so, and there's becoming a trend in the Hilltopper offense. In your first full season at Western Kentucky being the quarterback, you're more than likely going to have a crazy year. Last season, Caden Belkamp was the Conference USA Offensive Player of the Year. In 2022, Austin Reed was first in passing yards and third in passing touchdowns. And in 2021, Bailey Zappi threw for 5,976 passing yards and 62 passing touchdowns. I think this trend will continue where we see a quarterback's first year in Western Kentucky and he absolutely goes off. I'm not saying Maverick McIvor will throw for 60 passing touchdowns, but I do fully expect him to lead the country in passing yards this season. As good as he was last year with Abilene Christian and how great Western Kentucky develops quarterbacks, there's no reason McIvor should not throw for around 4,500 passing yards this fall. McIvor was one of the most underrated moves in the transfer portal, and I think he's one of the most underrated quarterbacks in college football. Next up on this list is Ohio quarterback Parker Navarro. Last year for the Bobcats, he had 13 passing touchdowns, 11 interceptions to go along with 2,400 passing yards. I know that might not seem like crazy passing numbers, but the thing that makes Navarro stand out is his rushing ability. Navarro ran for over 1,000 yards last season, averaged over 6.5 yards per carry, and had 18 rushing touchdowns. He helped OU win the MAC last season, something they haven't done in over 50 years. OU plays Rutgers, West Virginia, and Ohio State this season, and I think the Bobcats are capable of beating Rutgers or West Virginia. Lots of eyes in the MAC are on Toledo with Tucker Gleason and Junior Vanderross, deservingly so, but it's hard to rule out Parker Navarro and OU, a team who is the reigning conference champs. Parker Navarro is extremely underrated, and he's one of the best dual-threat quarterbacks in college football. Next up on this list is Owen McCown from UTSA, and if that name sounds familiar, Owen McCown is the son of former NFL quarterback Josh McCown. Last year with the Roadrunners, McCown threw for over 3,400 passing yards, had 25 passing touchdowns with 10 interceptions. He can also run the ball as well, rushing for over 340 yards to go along with 3 touchdowns on the ground. McCown had 5 different games last year where he had 3 passing touchdowns or more, and he had a very impressive 21 of 29 performance against Texas last season. UTSA is one of the favorites in the American this season, and a large part of that is due to Owen McCown. UTSA plays at Texas A&M to begin the season, and don't sleep on this UTSA team with the upset. A&M is known to lose to teams that they should not, and with McCown at the helm, it's possible we could see an upset. Despite being one of the best quarterbacks in the group of 5, Owen McCown is still severely underrated. And finally, to save the best for last, my favorite quarterback in college football, Braylon Braxton from Southern Miss. Braxton is a transfer from Marshall, where last season with the Thundering Herd, he was absolutely phenomenal, having over 1,600 passing yards, 19 passing touchdowns, just 2 interceptions, over 600 rushing yards to go along with 4 rushing touchdowns. He had 2 different games last season with Marshall where he had 140 rushing yards or more. He helped Marshall win their first conference title in a decade, but the thing that makes Braxton stand out more than any other quarterback on this list and any other quarterback in the FBS, that he does not lose. Last season at Marshall, Braxton was a perfect 8-0 as a starter with the Thundering Herd. He was the only quarterback in the FBS last season to start at least 8 games and be undefeated. When now going to Hattiesburg, several of his weapons from Marshall ended up transferring to Southern Miss too, so despite playing in a different program, he still already has chemistry with his wide receivers. I know it makes sense that Braxton transferred to Southern Miss because Marshall, former head coach Charles Huff, went to Hattiesburg, but I still do not understand how a big Power 4 team did not pick up Braylon Braxton in the transfer portal. Braxton was the most underrated quarterback in college football last season, and in my opinion, is by far the most underrated quarterback as we head into the 2025 season. Comment your thoughts on this video and comment who you think are some of the most underrated quarterbacks in college football. That about does it for this video. Make sure to like this video and hit the subscribe button. I would really appreciate it. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all next time on the Sports Studio Hines Show.